it just made me realize one of the other things I've been trying to put into a good perspective here, and to the reason to even get the impetus to even come on here, when I know that most people are not going to hear anything of any significance. So it's like, so what do? Do you come on here and talk about stuff of significance because you think it's important, it's going to help people, but then most people are not going to hear it? Or do you talk about the everyday run-of-the-mill gossip and swill because you're going to get a lot of hits off of it? And you know my answer. I'd rather not tape anything. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather just go figure some more shit out and help consult on the program with about a year and a half or a year ago, and bringing up these ideas to Jaja, and got one of the first hip hop business courses in the whole world instituted at Essex County College. Right, that course is going on right now. They're just about to be in the midterms. Right, but that spawned from an idea that Jaja and I talked about a year to a year and a half ago. All right, and then he, along with King Downing, were able to implement the program at Essex County College. Right. In the meantime, just over that past year, I got a little associates in business marketing. Right, over that same 12 months that we were trying to get that program installed, and that Jaja and King Downing ultimately did get installed. All right. So while that's going on, do we sit here and talk about the swill and drill that's going on radio these days? Come on, man. That's kind of hard to take. For real. So, I'm gonna take a quick break right here because I don't want this thing to get too long, because it's already too long for anybody to really even pay any attention to it. But I said all of that to say what I'm going to say in the next one that I'm about to tape right now, if I can get out of this thing, because it's fucking me up right now. I can't even get out of it somehow. But as you can see, sometimes these things go to where we don't want them to go. They sometimes end up in places that we don't want them to end up in. And this is telling me, you know what? It's telling me that I have to, I think, tape. It's sort of trying to tell me that I have 12 minutes left. But that's if I wanted to tape a half an hour broadcast. All right. And I'm sorry for that little pause right there if that threw you off. But I'm trying to figure this Spreaker shit out. And matter of fact, all right, I am going to indulge a little bit. Fuck it. I'm going to indulge. If you're not going to listen to this whole shit, you didn't listen up till now, so fuck it. Look, let's just see if this shit works right here. All right, if there's important things to talk about, here's another one. All right. 4 years ago, 4 years ago in 2010, I came out with the first 9 Elements magazines. Right, and in those first 12 issues, I basically talked about a lot of things that people didn't really have a lot of awareness about or didn't really care about or any of that type of shit. But it's actually the shit that we're going through right now. I did a full spread about the marijuana conspiracy and why it's illegal. 4 years ago, right? Now, 4 years ago, marijuana was already legal. In certain, medical marijuana was illegal in certain places. Was legal in certain places, right? But let's not forget that this comes after doing a show in 2005, a radio show called Smokers Blend the Weed Show, where we talked about the decriminalization of weed. That was one of our main topics because we were always fighting for the decriminalization of weed. Now, other cats went straight to trying to legalize it, which I don't necessarily think is the best approach for it, even though it has been working in certain places. And because they let it happen in one place, it's, the evidence becomes almost undeniable. Okay, and then once people see that money, their minds start changing anyway. All right, that was one of the stories. But I also talked about this Kids for Cash program, about this judge Civarella in Pennsylvania, who had been sticking people, a lot juveniles, in this for-profit juvenile prison, and just funneling all types of kids that didn't even really have serious offenses, just funneling them to this juvenile facility because he was getting kickbacks and money. They said he got about $2 million worth of kickbacks. So they had put him on trial, and they were going to sentence him to 28 years in jail. Right? So I guess his appeals ran through and all his time. So he's been out up till now. And now he's about to go serve his 28 years. Start serving his 20. Now, I've been railing about judges for a long time because of my personal dealings with the whole family court situation. Right? And I see the havoc that judges can wreak in people's lives. And people put way too much power into these people's hands. Judges, prosecutors, defense lawyers, and defense lawyers being the least culpable of the three. All right. But them too, because they're trying to make you go along with the fucking judge and the prosecutor most of the time too, just to get motherfuckers a plea bargain. All right. But anyway, these judges have so much unchecked power that it's ridiculous to a regular thinking person. Now, if there was any concerned or thinking people that were rappers in modern day society, for instance, they'd be talking about shit like that, but you don't hear none of them talking about nothing important. Right? Now, back in the day, back in the golden era of hip hop, we used to talk about all types of important shit. Hip hop used to be considered the news or whatever. Now people try to pretend that it's the news if you just report on murders and crime. No, that's how some people think the news is. But that's not the for real aspect of the so-called hood or so-called reality. That's not it doesn't encompass reality when you're just talking about niggas getting murdered. That's an overinflated statistic anyway. And I'll talk about that some other time. All right. But you got judges wreaking havoc throughout people's lives. Ain't nobody talking about these stop and frisk. Nobody talking about how these judges are raking people's lives over the proverbial coals. All right, for no reason other than to what? Keep people down or something? What is the reason? Oh no, well, it's money. All right, and we pointed that out when I did the expose on the Kids for Cash judge, the Civarella dude. All right. Now, you gotta look, and then there's a documentary that just came out this weekend. There's a documentary called Kids for Cash about the whole situation. And one of the main clips was the clip that I used back then too in 2010, which was the clip of the woman yelling at the judge after he got out of court. She's yelling in his face, telling him how he was responsible for her son committing suicide because earlier her son was like a athlete, like a lettering athlete in high school, and I think the parents were trying to teach him a lesson, so they planted weed on him and then called the cops so that he could see what it was like and blah blah blah. Well, the judge, this Civarella, actually sent him to juvenile hall because of this, and the parents pleaded against it and they were like, no, we're just trying to teach him a lesson. But they're like, no, I'm sending his ass to juvie and shit. So he goes to juvie, starts smoking weed and learning about a bunch of other crimes that he can commit because he's mad at his parents now for locking him up for no reason. All right, so when he gets back out, he starts doing shit, and then he ends up committing suicide. So now she was upset, and then that's how one of the reasons why the story came out, because of mothers like her, all these nice little suburban mothers, mainstream suburban mothers, they're upset about their kids getting sent to juvie. Now, maybe all this could have come out before, when some of the so-called concerned black mothers would see their sons and thrown in jail for stupid shit, but they never got anywhere with it. So the other little mainstream suburban moms, they made something happen. This judge gets tried by a jury, and they find him guilty. So now he's supposed to serve, and at that point they were waiting for the sentencing. Then the sentencing came out a little while ago, which was 28 years, and then now he's got to go serve his time. Right? That's a process that took like 4 years to happen. Right? But that's just another story that I was talking about. But just to get to the final point that I want to make is, and we just got just enough time for this, hopefully, if this works. I just wanted to get to the point where we talk about these judges. And here's another person that was a judge. This person is the dumbest person in Congress right now. That's what everybody calls him, Louis Gohmert. This guy used to be a judge. He used to be a judge, this guy. So how is that possible that you have this low of intelligence person becoming an actual judge? Now, he's from Texas. He was a chief justice in Texas. All right. For the 7th Judicial District in Texas, Louis Gohmert. Smith County, Tyler, Texas, from 1992 to 2002. This wasn't a whole long time ago. But this person, and thanks to Secular Talk, he put this compilation together. Let's see if we can listen to a little piece of it before I run out of time here. Huh. Gotta get some water. You hear that? When he was a judge, he warned the guy to be quiet 3 times. And then when the guy wouldn't be quiet, he wrapped him up in duct tape. He's one of those judges. When you've ever seen those pictures of somebody hang like hog tied, or like with a handkerchief or something across their mouth so that they can't speak, and then they have them in courts listening to this procedure, he's one of those judges that do that type of stuff. Like, if you ever thought like all the stupid judges were back in the day and they don't really exist on a court anymore, no, they're still on the court. People that have no business and power being a judge are still on the court right now. They're in court right now as we speak, throwing down sentences one after another, like in about 5-10 minutes, going through people's cases, just throwing them in jail for profit or for whatever motives they might have. Maybe physically gagging people, or just using the law to gag people, threatening, harassing, coercing people out of their money, using terroristic threats on people about what they're going to do to you when they put you in contempt of court. You know, and then you got all these people going along with it. Prosecutors, probation officers, bailiffs, defense attorneys, public defenders, all these people going along with it. So we need to talk about the judicial system a little bit more if you want to talk about reality. Right? But nobody wants to talk about reality. Everybody wants to talk about Iggy Azalea and shit like that. You know, or whatever, you know, Miley Cyrus. Right? Or they want to talk about race. They want to talk about race. So whatever, man. You know what? We could talk about some of those things in and out as the time fits. But until then, I'm your man Kurt Nice. And this is what it is. Alright? right here, shadesradio.com, hiphoplives.net. That's how I get down. Peace.